But our top focus today, the battle lines being drawn once again in this election season in the new year. Congress Vice President Rahul Gandhi is back from his vacation and he seems to have rediscovered his voice once again. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he tried hard selling the BJP's Achhe Din slogan this time to resurrect the Congress's fortunes, taking a jibe at the Prime Minister's Mitro statement and also claiming that the Congress must not fear the BJP. But the Vice President of the Congress had very little to celebrate as the Supreme Court today dismissed a plea seeking an investigation against Prime Minister Modi in the corporate bribery case. The question then is, for all the fire and brimstone shown by Rahul Gandhi, whatever happened to the earthquake he had promised in the winter session of Parliament?
500,000 रुपए का नोट है, अब ये कागज हो गया है, कागज.
He began by mocking the Prime Minister.
बीजेपी की पॉलिसीज को देखो, पूरा का पूरा लक्ष्य हिंदुस्तान के लोगों को डराने का है.
Then proceeded to label him a peddler of fear. Back from his vacation, Rahul Gandhi wasted no time in taking on the Prime Minister. This time, his speech laced with satire.
हिंदुस्तान की फाइनेंशियल रीढ़ की हड्डी जो है, उसको उन्होंने तोड़ दिया.
Rahul reiterated his suit-boot jibe.
जनार्दन रेड्डी जी ने 500 करोड़ रुपए की वहां पे शादी कराई अपनी बेटी की. चेक से पैसा दिया था, नए नोट में.
And attempted to hijack the BJP's main mantra.
Achhe din are only going to come when the Congress party comes back to power.
Before raising the bribery charge again.
इन कागजों में लिखा है नरेंद्र मोदी जी को 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 बार 6 महीने में सहारा ने पैसा दिया.
But even as he was attacking Modi for the second time in the day, the Supreme Court derailed Rahul's charges against the Prime Minister.
When it comes to prosecuting and investigating high constitutional functionaries, it is essential for the democracy that there must be cogent evidence and it must not be just loose sheets of paper or some sort of frivolous evidence that has to be brought forward.
The BJP dismissed Rahul's attack on Modi as being disconnected from reality.
शायद विदेश से बहुत थकावट के बाद लौट के आए हैं, कुछ देश से भी कनेक्ट कर ले, उसके बाद टिप्पणी करे तो बेहतर होगा.
The BJP slammed Rahul, but the reality was the growing clamour for Rahul to take command of the party. The National Convention was held to mobilize a nationwide agitation against demonetization, and Sonia's absence from another key meeting raised a few eyebrows.
Congress President Sonia Gandhi chose to give a miss to the event. It was Rahul who presided over the entire proceedings, fueling further rumours of an imminent accession.
We look forward to his enlightened leadership, and I think today on the stage he's shown this capability as well.
We will be able to see Rahul ji as the president of the party, but it is up to the Sonia ji or Rahul ji when they will decide, and we will wait for further for this auspicious day.
While Rahul led the attack from the front, Priyanka worked behind the scenes. She visited the venue at 1:30 at night to review the preparations. Rahul Gandhi is increasingly emerging from Sonia's shadow and taking the big decisions in the Congress. Clearly, his elevation now is only a matter of time. With Supriya Bhardwaj, Mausami Singh and Kumar Vikrant, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's raise the first set of questions at the top of the news today. The Sahara Papers rejected. Has the opposition balloon gone bust? Remember, Rahul Gandhi said Narendra Modi's balloon would go bust, but has his balloon gone bust? Number two, Rahul Gandhi targeted Narendra Modi today, but will blind anti-Modiism be enough to revive the Congress? But number three, Is Rahul's rhetoric slowly getting under Mr. Modi's skin, the manner in which he attacks him? And question number 4, what happened to the promised earthquake of Rahul Gandhi? Joining me now, Jyotiraditya Scindia, Congress MP and party's whip in the Lok Sabha, Sambit Patra is the national spokesperson of the BJP, Yogendra Yadav, founder of the Swaraj Abhiyan, the party whose leader Prashant Bhushan, the lawyer, took this matter of Sahara Birla to the courts, and Javed Ansaria, executive editor. Jyotiraditya Scindia, to you first. On a day when Rahul Gandhi said he was exposing the Prime Minister, was mocking the Prime Minister, the fact is the Supreme Court has only punctured Rahul Gandhi's balloon. They say there is no need to investigate the Birla Sahara papers. So whatever happened to the promised earthquake, Mr. Scindia?
Well, the issue very clearly, Rajdeep, here is the Prime Minister's own admission and the Prime Minister's own statement of zero tolerance for corruption. It indeed is a wondrous state of affairs that why is the Prime Minister of India silent on an allegation that is directly leveled at him? That's question number 1. Why is there this studied silence? Why is there no response in Parliament? In this case, Rajdeep, I may point out to you, there's no response even outside Parliament on this issue. When we hold offices where we need to be transparent and accountable, the Prime Minister must come out and put out his story.
But the papers have been rejected, sir. Mr. Scindia, the papers have been rejected by the Supreme Court.
Accountability.
The papers have been rejected. The papers have been rejected. So where is your case? It is not only the issue of Rajdeep. If you allow me to finish, it is not only an issue of rejection of the Supreme Court, for whom we have the highest respect for. It is also the individual who himself mouthed the issue of zero tolerance for corruption when allegations are leveled against him. Why is there no response from him at all? Why should he respond if
India
the matter is seen by the matter is before the Supreme Court?
Everyone needs to respond.
Why should he respond when the matter is before the Supreme Court, which today has said there isn't enough credible evidence?
So the question that I want to ask you is that if in the multiple cases that we have seen before us, where FIRs have been lodged, have we waited for the Supreme Court to pass its verdict against various leaders? Why is it that it's only in this case that you're taking the umbrage of what the Supreme Court has said? The government has not waited to file FIRs against people in many other issues. So why is it that it is doing so in this case?
Mr. Scindia, where is the political earthquake?
The whole issues of optics, the whole issues of accountability. A person who says zero tolerance for corruption must come forward with his answer. And I would say on the floor of the House.
So where is the earthquake, sir?
Of certain charges,
Mr. Scindia, where is the earthquake?
On the floor of the House.
You are saying he must make a statement on the floor of the House on papers that have been rejected by the Supreme Court. Where is the earthquake? Where is the earthquake, Mr. Scindia? I am still waiting for it to register on the Richter scale.
It is not the issue. It is not the issue. Again, Rajdeep, let me come back to you. It's not the issue of the Supreme Court. A person and a party that says that they have zero tolerance for corruption. When these documents are put, why has there been studied silence for the last 2.5 to 3 weeks?
Mr. Sambit Patra, do you want to respond directly to what Mr. Scindia is saying? He's saying, why has your party and your leader in particular been silent on the Sahara Birla papers? He is saying if the Prime Minister believes in zero tolerance for corruption, he should explain his position on the Sahara Birla papers.
See, my sympathies to Mr. Scindia. He's a very articulate spokesperson and a politician, but today he's really finding it extremely difficult to defend his leader, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. I can understand his problem. Number one, I would begin by saying that as far as the earthquake is concerned, Mr. Rahul Gandhi today himself has become the victim of the earthquake. And as far as the measurement of the earthquake, which he was saying in Richter scale is concerned, Rajdeep, it has been measured in the laughter scale. People are laughing at Mr. Rahul Gandhi today. Now, coming to the technical issues, I would just like to read out what the Supreme Court had to say about these papers that the Vice President of Congress was waving to the people. I quote, Sahara Group documents are not genuine. They are fictitious, zero, and not authentic. We cannot start an investigation based on these evidences. Whom do you want to speak? The highest court of the country, the Chief Justice of the country has spoken, and he claims that these papers are fictitious. They are zero, they are not genuine and not authentic. See, Mr. Rahul Gandhi, in his war to keep himself relevant, is speaking irrelevant. And you want to draw the Prime Minister into this war of relevance of Mr. Rahul Gandhi? The Prime Minister is relevant for development of this country, and he is today one of the most
So the Prime Minister will never...
in the country.
You're saying the Prime Minister is not obliged to answer allegations made by the opposition. That's what you're saying. The Prime Minister is above it all, is it?
I'll answer that. I'll answer that. See, when no case exists, you manufacture a case, and then you want the Prime Minister to answer on a manufactured case, on a fictitious paper, on a paper which is not authentic. Now, any person in this country can understand what Mr. Rahul Gandhi is trying to do. You tell me, Rajdeep, should the Prime Minister answer on a manufactured case, which even the Supreme Court has rejected, when none exists? It exists only in the dream of Mr. Rahul Gandhi. Why should anyone answer him?
Let Mr. Scindia respond. This is a fictitious case, is what the BJP is claiming, and they have now the endorsement of the Supreme Court.
Court has claimed.
Yeah, the Supreme Court has claimed. Respond,
so
Mr. Scindia.
3 points very quickly, Rajdeep.
Yes.
Rajdeep, 3 points very... Rajdeep, 3 points very quickly. This government acts on the reference of the income tax authorities. The income tax authorities have recognized these papers to be genuine. They have leveled a 1910 crore claim on Sahara based on these documents. Let the government answer that, because the government refers to the income tax on every issue. Point number one. Point number two, I am really astonished at my good friend Sambit that he says that the Prime Minister is above answering an allegation, a personal allegation that is leveled against him. The Prime Minister is as strong or as weak as any other citizen of India. And certainly in this case where this government and this Prime Minister says zero tolerance for corruption, when there's a corruption allegation leveled against him, is he so high and mighty that he does not even deserve to answer allegations that are leveled against the person holding the highest office in the country? I'm really shocked to hear this.
You know, you're shocked to hear this, but I want to bring in Yogendra Yadav also for a moment, because Yogendra Yadav, I'll let you answer, but Yogendra Yadav, Prashant Bhushan, your colleague, is the one who as a lawyer petitioned the court. Now it's been dismissed. Now, are you all still insisting that somewhere even the Supreme Court has compromised? Are you saying that the Supreme Court has in some way also been subverted? Is that what is the allegation when you say that this matter must be investigated?
Rajdeep, I'm glad we are coming now on to the big issue, because Rahul Gandhi angle is not very central to this particular thing, and as I have been saying for the last 2 or 3 weeks, Rahul Gandhi's entry in this whole thing only diluted the case. If it was a setback only for Rahul Gandhi, honestly, I couldn't care less, because let us remember, it was not only Mr. Modi. A number of politicians across parties were part of the documents, which included many of these Congress politicians, and that's probably must be the reason why Congress did not speak about this issue. What concerns me is something else. It is a setback. I have absolutely no hesitation in saying so, and Mr. Samit Patra has reasons to smile today. If it was a setback only for Mr. Prashant Bhushan, probably that should not matter to the country. What worries me is that this might well be a setback for something much larger. I'm no constitutional judge, and I'm in no business to question the wisdom of the Supreme Court on law of evidence. But as a citizen of this country, I have 2 or 3 questions which I think I hope I can ask. One, are there going to be 2 different standards of proof? One for people like you and me, another for constitutional authorities, what ordinary people call VIPs. The Constitution of India never said that, but that's what I hear reports about the Supreme Court's discussions, debates and retorts. The order hasn't come, so we can't quote it yet as yet. Number 2, is the court saying that you must produce foolproof evidence before demanding probe? The problem is, how would you bring these proofs? Because those very people who are sitting over these things are precisely those against which probe is being demanded. In which case, who would ever be able to bring anything? I must say, I don't want to get into the evidence and arguments that must have taken place in the Supreme Court.
Your third question.
But the evidence in this case was 100 times bigger. And the third question that I wish to ask is about the signal. Remember, Rajdeep, the Jabalpur case during emergency? No matter what the technicalities of the case was, about that Justice Chanchud apologized later. But the signal it gave was, don't question emergency, shut up. Today, this country is going through a very sensitive phase. The autonomy of large number of institutions is under challenge. And the Supreme Court appears to be one beacon of hope. I sincerely hope that that particular beacon is not extinguished.
Can I
These
just
are the larger
quickly
concerns that we should be focusing on rather than Rahul versus Modi.
No, but I just want to understand. I stopped you in between. You said that the evidence you believe is 100 times more than what? When you said 100 times more than what? What is the evidence 100 times more
100 times more than the kinds of other big cases that we all talk about, then Jan Hawala, then Bofors, when it was discussed in the country. Later on, much more evidence emerged. Then in the case of Colgate and so on. Remember, in none of these cases, that kind of quid pro quo has been established.
No, 1 minute.
This is
Even in this
voluminous
case,
evidence. It's not that someone is waving just 2 or 3 pages.
We don't know what the quid pro quo as yet is. These were loose papers found in a raid. I am only going today by the Supreme Court. At the end of the day, we have to have some faith in some institution. So I'm going by the Supreme Court. But Sambit Patra, the question that Jyotiraditya Scindia in a sense raised and Yogendra Yadav is raising is quite simply this. Is it that we are to understand that there are some people who are above the law? That there are some people who do not have to answer questions. If your name or my name, certain, maybe not yours, but if my name came in an income tax raid, in loose papers, I would certainly be investigated. Are we saying that there will be no investigation of VIPs? And to that extent, you can today take the cover of the Supreme Court and say the Prime Minister has nothing to answer for. Is that what you're saying?
When you say that I take the cover of Supreme Court, remember that is the ultimate cover that anyone who wants justice in this country can get and should deserve. So if Supreme Court's verdict is questioned over here, because in a very oblique way, most of my worthy opponents have in fact put the Supreme Court in the dock. When in fact Mr. Yogendra Yadav, a very learned person, goes ahead to say that, well, these are testing times of the country and the judicial autonomy is under question. I really worry that this is the first debate of its kind where the Supreme Court, the Chief Justice of India, in fact has been brought to what we call in Hindi Katghara. We have questioned the Chief Justice of India. And secondly, as far as the Jan Hawala case is concerned, if I'm not wrong, because I've followed the case very closely, none other than the eminent lawyer from their side, Santi Bhushanji, argued exactly the same in front of the 2-judge bench. The judges, in their wisdom, gave the answer, and thereafter they derived to whatever they have said today. And thirdly, when you say that this is a big setback for the judicial history and Indian constitution, I believe, Rajdeep, you would personally agree that the Supreme Court of this country is the highest custodian of the constitution of this country. Any other field, any other wing of democracy can think or may damage democracy, as was damaged during the emergency days, rightly pointed out by Mr. Yogendra Yadav, but Supreme Court is the highest custodian. My simple suggestion as the youngest participant over here would be, please don't question the Supreme Court and please don't question the Chief Justice of India. It doesn't augur well in the Indian democratic system.
Okay, you believe that the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice of this country cannot be questioned in a case.
Can I clarify something?
Okay, you believe it cannot be questioned in a case, but I just want to again play what Rahul Gandhi said, and I want Jyotiraditya to respond. This was the original statement that Rahul Gandhi had made almost a month ago, Mr. Scindia, because I want to understand, is this the where is the earthquake now? Listen in to what Rahul Gandhi said, Mr. Scindia, because you were there with him on that day. Just listen in.
प्रधानमंत्री पूरे देश में भाषण दे रहे हैं, मगर लोकसभा में आने से डरते हैं। हाउस में है, मगर लोकसभा में बैठने को तैयार नहीं। Basically, you are saying you are going to prove in the parliament. 100%. If they allow me to speak in parliament, you will see what an earthquake is going to come.
What an earthquake? Where is that earthquake? I come back to it. Even in today's speech, he was still with the same 2 papers, Mr. Scindia. Where is the earthquake? Where is the promised earthquake? And does that not damage his credibility?
Not at all. He has very clearly shown the evidence, and he has very clearly asked the Prime Minister to respond. I still don't understand the nuanced answer of my good friend Sambit Patra. Is the Prime Minister not accountable in this country? Does the Prime Minister not have to respond?
But once the Supreme, I come back to it, once the Supreme Court rejects it, once the Supreme Court rejects it, the Prime Minister can, why is the Prime Minister obliged?
No, hold on, Rajdeep, it's a very, the point is this, the point is this, will the government wait for a court verdict before conducting an investigation with regard to the veracity of those papers? You go over the last 2.5 years where FIRs have been lodged against various political party leaders. Have they waited for a court paper, a court verdict before lodging an FIR? Why is it in this case this is the policy that is being followed?
No,
I think therein lies the crux of the issue.
No, the crux of the issue,
and the very fact that the Prime Minister feels that he is not obliged to answer
the crux may be that you are engaged in a fishing expedition.
Is actually very shocking.
The crux may be that you are engaged in a fishing expedition.
Fishing expedition or otherwise, we just want a simple answer. Rajdeep, truck fishing expedition or otherwise, we just want a simple answer from the Prime Minister of our country.
You want a simple answer from the Prime Minister of your country?
Or is it not? Simple as that.
You know, quickly respond once again, Mr. Patra. Simple answer. Can the Prime Minister say, cross his heart and just say to the people of the country, I have never taken money from any industrialist for my elections in cash? Just say that.
See, it seems the people are extremely worried that the Supreme Court has given a judgment. Now they're attacking the Supreme Court. Anyhow, Mr. Scindia was saying that Rahul Gandhi's 2 pieces of paper were absolutely
No. Let him answer the question, Rajdeep. Let him answer the question.
Please, please, okay. Please,
let him answer the question.
Rajdeep is the anchor. I'll answer the question. I will do that, Mr. Scindia. Please wait for a minute. Mr. Scindia, you opened the statement by saying that those 2 pieces of paper that Rahul Gandhi showed today in your convention was absolute clear evidence. Now, well, Mr. Scindia, you, the followers of Mr. Rahul Gandhi, and Mr. Rahul Gandhi may consider himself as extremely wise, that these were the clear evidences. But the Supreme Court, the country, and the leadership which governs this country does not feel that Mr. Rahul Gandhi is as wise as you and Mr. Rahul Gandhi think himself to be. And that's the reason as to why an unwise man can make any allegation, can show any evidence which is not an evidence, which he feels is an evidence, which the highest court of the country says not genuine, not authentic, zero, and fictitious. You may cry hoarse that we should speak on you. Why should we fall in your trap? You want that there should be a tutu meme on issues which are non-issues, which are manufactured ones. We have better things to do. We have a country to govern rather than giving relevance to Rahul Gandhi and increasing his feet in Congress so that tomorrow he can become the Congress Adhyaksh. Make him the Congress Adhyaksh if you feel he's so powerful and if he has real evidences.
Mr. Scindia, the government says we will not fall into the trap. You're trying to trap the Prime Minister by asking him to respond to the Sahara Birla papers. Why should he respond?
No. So,
yes, Mr.
a Prime Minister who has himself said multiple times, zero tolerance for corruption. If there is an allegation against him as a citizen of the country holding the highest office in the land, should he not respond? Is he above the
Are we saying every time there is an allegation against the Prime Minister, he must respond? Are we saying every time there is an allegation?
If there is an allegation, no, hold on, Rajdeep, let me finish.
Yes.
Rajdeep, please yes. Let me finish.
Yes.
If there's an allegation against you, Rajdeep, will you not be obliged to respond? Or will you keep a solidified, mummified silence all throughout?
I will deny.
Can I ask a question to Mr.
If there's an
Scindia?
allegation against
yes,
any one
Mr.
of us,
Patra, you can ask a question.
That's
yes.
right. So
what is your question,
Mr. Patra? That is the response, right?
Mr. Scindia, I have one question for you.
Rajdeep, that is the response.
I will deny it. So Prime Minister denies it, you'll be happy, but quickly respond. What's the question you have, Mr. Patra?
Which is a response?
Scindia,
which is a response? Rajdeep, even if you deny it, that's a response. All that we are saying is, why is there no response?
Well, Mr. Scindia, take this question from me.
Yes, what is your question?
Number one, this piece of evidence has been nullified by Supreme Court. But remember, the National Herald case and the Augusta Westland case has not been nullified by any court. Did Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi rise up on the floor of Parliament? Did Sonia Gandhi put her hand like this and say, no, I have not taken bribes,
yes,
despite her name appearing multiple number of times?
Yes, they did.
Did she address the nation to say no? You did, and
Yes,
Sonia
they
Gandhi
did.
did. Show me that
My
video.
answer to you
Where Sonia
my-
Gandhi on the floor
my
of
answer
Parliament.
to you
No. Show me
repeatedly,
Sonia
my friend
Gandhi's video.
Samit, is yes.
Show me Sonia.
My
no, sir.
answer
I have
to
never
you
heard Rajdeep. Did you hear
repeatedly-
Sonia Gandhi anywhere?
My answer to you
Did you hear
repeatedly
Sonia
is
Gandhi
yes.
saying that she has not received bribe?
Has Sonia
Does that
Gandhi
mean
come
that the
public?
Prime Minister should not
in
respond?
2G, in
No,
National
Sambit,
Herald,
are you saying that
in
on that
Augusta
logic?
Westland?
No, hold on, Sambit. On that logic,
No,
are you saying that the
my
Prime
logic
Minister
is
should
not
not
that.
respond?
My logic.
The person who
my
says that he has
logic
a
is the
zero
paper is
tolerance for
fictitious.
corruption, he should not respond.
No,
It
no,
is
no,
your
no,
logic.
my logic is the logic
I am
of the
playing your
Supreme Court.
question back to you.
Mr. Scindia-
Does that mean that the Prime Minister
No,
should
no,
not
I buy
respond?
my logic from the Supreme Court that these are fictitious.
No, I think,
So one
I
did
think
not
there's a
answer
point.
on fictitious papers.
There is a point in what is being said.
My
And-
question
one
was
minute.
very clear and categorical.
No,
Should the Prime Minister not respond to the people of the country?
That's Yogendra Yadav. It's come down to that because I think Sambit Patra made an important question. Augusta Westland allegations have been made on corruption. In other cases, allegations have been made on corruption. Does the individual have to respond in every case? Are you saying, is the stand of your party also that Prime Minister Modi has to stand up and say, I deny taking money once the Supreme Court effectively has said there isn't enough evidence? What is it coming down to? Is it coming down to now what I call or some would call a fishing expedition? How can we embarrass Narendra Modi?
Rajdeep, there is a legal question, there is a moral question, there is a political question. There is no doubt that part of the legal question has been answered today, and it has not been to the advantage of favor of people like me. That's
Yes.
all right. We should be straight about it, and we cannot cherry pick on Supreme
Yes.
Court's orders. We cannot say, if I like an order, it's a great Supreme Court. If I don't like it, it's terrible. No, we can't do that. But please remember, and I want Mr. Samit Patra to remember, it is not that the trial has been conducted and Mr. Modi has been found not guilty. It was only a limited technical petition which said Supreme Court should go out of its way to order an investigation because the government is not ordering it. Supreme Court says, no, we shall not order it. That still does not rule out the possibility of this case being opened at some stage and trial taking place. Supreme Court has not ordered not to carry out investigation. I want Mr. Patra to remember all these things. But there is also a larger moral question.
Yes.
And there is a political question. Remember, Bofors was not fought on legalities. Bofors was fought on morality and politics. And we are grateful that it was. Same was the case with Colgate. Same was the case with 2G. And I would really request Mr. Samit Patra and so on, given the standards of proof that the Supreme Court has set today, they should forget Augusta Westland and so on, because none of them would match that level of proof which the Supreme Court is demanding today. And if that is the new order of the country, let's all abide by that. I have just one final submission to make. If Mr. Modi knows that he is completely free of all this, what a great gesture would it be from his part to say, I know I have won it in the Supreme Court, but I want this country to believe in it, me, not just the legality of it. And I would now order investigation because I know I'm completely guiltless. This would really raise his stature. And I've often wondered in the last few weeks, why doesn't Mr. Modi order this on his own? No one has prevented it. And I can assure you, the Supreme Court has not ordered today that investigation should not take place.
You're saying Mr. Modi,
you're
saying Mr. Modi should suo moto on his own order and investigation. Sambit, quick response, and I then want to get a final comment from Javed Ansari.
Why not?
No, please respond, Sambit, to that.
I'll answer all the questions.
Suo moto investigation, the Prime Minister, doodh ka doodh, pani ka pani. If the Prime Minister is as clean as the Ganga, as Ravi Shankar Prasad said, let's prove it once and for all. Finish off Yogendra Yadav, finish off the Jyotiraditya Scindias of the world, finish off the Rahul Gandhis, finish off the Arvind Kejriwals, shut them up once and for all.
They have been shut today. And humbly I say that, literally don't take that they have been shut by a mouth, but they have been shut today, they have been finished today, and they are over today. The earthquake is over today, because which is the ultimate authority? When the Supreme Court says that this is a fictitious paper, yet you want an investigation just in order to pacify the ego of some people who hate Mr. Narendra Modi. And they just want to hear Mr. Narendra Modi. The debate is not on the issue, not on Supreme Court's judgment. The debate is, why did not the Prime Minister open his mouth? Is that the core of the debate? The core of the debate is Supreme Court has rejected the fictitious paper which you thought was the word, which you thought were great ammunitions in your hand to nail the Prime Minister of the country, but you had manufactured a false case against him, a false conspiracy against him, and today you have been caught red-handed by the Supreme Court of the country. So we have no obligation of pacifying your ego. And when you say, Mr. Yadav, that the legal, moral and political entity, remember, the Supreme Court answers all the three together. It is not that it only answers the legal morality. When you win a legal battle, your morality is supreme and political perception is understood by the people. Let me complete, sir. And when you said that a limited point has been addressed by the Supreme Court, my answer is Supreme Court gave you all time after declaring on December 16 that these papers were fictitious. They said if you have anything else, we are ready to take that into consideration. When Mr. Rahul Gandhi was saying that I have evidences which I would speak on Parliament and there would be an earthquake, why didn't he go to the Supreme Court then? That means all this was rhetoric and all this was enmity against a person, nothing to do with corruption, nothing to do with reality.
Can I ask you a simple question, Mr. Jyotiraditya Scindia, that if tomorrow in the Augusta Westland case, or if in National Herald, the courts were to rule evidence is not enough, there is absolutely nothing, no need for an investigation. If they were to say that, would you also not claim a political victory? Would you not also claim a legal victory? You know, today, once the Supreme Court has given this order, why not at least accept, as Yogendra Yadav is accepting, that politically today the BJP has the upper hand in this case? Accept it and then move ahead.
No, Rajdeep, no one is denying the ultimate verdict that the Supreme Court has passed. My point and my issue is a moral one and one with perception connected to a person who is holding the highest office in the land. So should he not be responsible enough to answer allegations that are put against him, just like any one of us are in this country? It's as simple as that. Is it that you will choose when you want to speak and you will choose when you don't want to speak?
I am asking you a very simple question.
Is that the
I
case
asked you about Augusta Westland and I asked you about National Herald. You moved on again to the Prime Minister's allegations. Are you saying every allegation has to be responded by a leader? You're saying whenever...
I have not moved on. I have said that once the Supreme Court has passed a verdict, like Yogendra Yadav ji has said, it is the highest court of the land, and that is something that we must accept. But that is not the point I am raising. The point I am raising is prior to this order coming out, for the last 2.5, 3 weeks, why is the Prime Minister, why is he silent? Why can he not hold his hand against his heart and say these allegations, there's nothing to these allegations?
Okay, you're questioning the Prime Minister's silence. Javed Ansari, how is this then going to play out politically as we enter election season? Has this been a setback to Rahul Gandhi as we are interpreting it today? Or do you believe that there is more that the Congress Vice President possibly has, which will force in a way Mr. Modi to answer?
Look, if I were Rahul Gandhi or if I were a Congress party political manager, legally I would certainly construe this as a setback. Politically, not so much, because for the first time, such charges of such nature have been put in the political domain. I am given to understand...
So it will play out like Bofor's will? That again the Congress leader will go across the country with these two papers in hand?
There is nothing to suggest that he won't. I am given to understand by senior Congress leaders that this is not just the only thing that they have in their bag. There is more ammunition to come, and at an appropriate time, they will make it public.
We will wait and see if that evidence is brought forward. For now, today, we must go by what the Supreme Court has said, and that clearly suggests that the evidence is not credible. Whether the Prime Minister should order a suo motu investigation, as is being suggested by Yogendra Yadav, or at least speak out, as is being suggested by Jyotiraditya Scindia, well, we leave it to the wisdom of Mr. Narendra Modi. Thank you all very much for joining us on our top discussion this evening. Where do I stand? My take. Rahul Gandhi's speech today was not short of energy, but he needs more than just strong words to put the government and Narendra Modi on the mat. With the Supreme Court refusing an investigation into the Sahara Birla papers, Rahul and the opposition now need to get back to the basics. Blind anti-Modism alone is not a recipe for revival. Does Rahul really have a big idea or an alternate brand of politics to challenge Mr. Modi? For now, the much-promised earthquake has simply failed to register on the political Richter scale.